Welcome.
Welcome to episode number 30.
I'm so glad you said that because I couldn't remember. So, what are we talking about today?
Today, everybody knows because we talked about it in the last episode. We said today we're going to Ireland and we're going to talk about Irish whiskey.
Irish whiskey. Whiskey with an E.
It was EY. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why that is still, actually.
And it would be super simple to research, but I don't know either.
What I can tell you, while I don't know what the E means, is I can tell you where the word whiskey comes from.
Oh, detail.
Yeah. So, Irish, Gaelic, the word whiskey, or Whiskey Beatha, pronunciation may be suspicious, but Whiskey or Whiskey Beatha, which is a Gaelic translation of the Latin aqua vita.
Aqua becomes whiskey. Whiskey.
Yeah, specifically water of life.
Yeah. Okay.
So, to give you an idea, Irish whiskey is one of the oldest spirits in the world and started in the late 12th century.
What they call
the 1100s.
No, those.
Yeah. Or you mean like Dark Ages or something?
Yeah, but the ones who were making the potion.
Okay. So
no,
so it was actually monks
who
who came from Southern Europe with perfumes, started distilling the perfumes for some reason. And then they decided to tweak it to make it drinkable. And that's where distilled spirits and whiskey came from. Okay, it was really popular. And back then, it wasn't aged in any way. Aged.
Had mankind already figured out that you could age something in wood?
No idea. But it was often flavored with aromatic herbs like mint, thyme, anise. There's even an Irish liquor that was formed in the 60s called Irish Mist. That's actually based on the original distilled spirit in Ireland in the 1100s. But I wasn't able to find it. Back then, records didn't exist, of course. Earliest record of it actually being distilled in Ireland is 1505.
And then what they did, written records, you mean, or how?
Interesting you say that, because it was before that, records in Ireland were kind of oral and not, written down, and a little bit suspicious, and the production of it was often illicit, so they didn't really, whatever they wrote down was not true to reality in any way. But the first written record of it is in
1505.
1405. In the annals of Clan MacNoise. Again, pronunciation may be suspicious. But he was the head of a clan, and he died after taking a surfeit. A surfeit? Is that French? Surfeit. He had too much of the aqua vita. And his cause of death, because he was the head of a clan, was the first recorded use in distillation.
I bet his father was proud. This is how he went out.
But to give you a context, the first recorded distillation of whiskey in Ireland, 1405. In Scotland, 1494. 89 years later.
Wow.
So, actually, that's still 300 years later than when the monks started playing with it.
But this is the first record, which still doesn't mean that maybe something started before. We will never know. But
no. But the fact that even the word whiskey comes from this kind of old Gaelic.
Yeah.
Well, Scotland has Gaelic as well, so maybe it's similar. But I was really shocked to find out how old Irish whiskey is.
Yeah, I wouldn't have guessed that in a million years.
But in the late 1800s, it was one of the most popular spirits in the world.
Really? So you went
in
late 1800s, so in the world. So you had cowboys going into a saloon and they were asking for that whiskey at the bar. Hey, barman, give me a whiskey.
Well,
And they will most likely served Irish whiskey.
probably because there were a lot of Irish settlers.
Yeah.
But how many distilleries in Ireland do you think there were in 1890?
Probably 17.
Okay.
Something like that.
28.
Oh.
Okay.
All right.
So 80 years later, 1966, how many distilleries are there in Ireland?
140.
2. 6 years later, 1972, how many distilleries in Ireland are there?
56.
1. Actually, one bought the other, so it was like 2 distilleries, but 1.
What year are we in that right now?
1972. 1987, there was an academically conceived whiskey distillery. They actually thought about it. How can we bring this industry back? And Cooley Distillery, that is actually quite famous, and still going, was formed for that reason.
So then there were 2 again.
Yeah. In 1990, 3 years later, after Cooley, it's the fastest spirit every year. Irish whiskey, the fastest growing spirit year on year
from 87.
From 1990 until today.
Until today?
Yeah. Exports growing 15% per annum every year. Existing distilleries expanding. New make distilleries popping up. In 2019, how many distilleries are in Ireland? Now, remember the peak was 28 in 1890.
Yes. So I'll go 56, probably.
32.
Okay. So back to where we started.
But yeah, it kind of died.
Yeah.
And it's growing. It's like the fastest growing. So
it's still the 32 I can probably name for some. I will not be sure if they're Irish.
And some of, as we know, died out as well.
Yes.
Along the way, which is going back in history, in 1556, the Irish Parliament actually decided to recognize whiskey distillation.
Meaning it's not illegal to distill.
They declared, and I quote, "Whiskey is a drink, nothing profitable to be drunken daily and used. Now, universally throughout this realm made." What it meant was that it was illegal to distill whiskey without a license, except if you were a then peer, gentleman, or freeman of the larger towns. Now, what it meant in reality is, and we hear the expression, "Oh, this is beyond the pale."
Yeah.
So it means to go beyond sense. So the pale, I learned, was a fortified area outside Dublin. And what it means is this rule of illegal whiskey distillation existed only in the pale.
Right.
And beyond the pale, people they were.
That's really cool.
Yeah. Give me the 3 types of Irish whiskey.
3 types?
Yeah.
I can give you one. I don't know.
You know one. You know 2. We know one. We did an episode on it.
But so by type,
general types of whiskey,
like single malt.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So single malt, blend.
Blend is one.
Yes.
Single malt what?
Single malt
from going back to the previous episode.
Wait, what did you want? The previous episode on
equipment?
Yeah, from a pot still.
Single malt pot still.
Yeah.
Blends and single grain.
And single grain.
Those are the 3 varieties of Irish whiskey.
Okay.
Now, characteristics. Well, how would you associate Irish whiskey?
I really don't drink it. I used to drink, well, not drink. I used to order Jameson when I wanted to drink an Irish Carbot. Have you ever? I don't know if it's only an American thing or where I was living at the time.
What is it?
So it's a glass of Guinness and a shot of James. If you dump in every day, it's called Irish Carbot. It's delicious. I like it a lot. And apparently the recipe calls for Jameson, or maybe I was misled, but I was always ordering Guinness with a shot of Jameson to make my own.
You put the glass in as well.
So you put something like a plank, like something over the glass, whatever you can find.
Yeah.
And I think that's a tequila boom boom. So when this on the table and then it shakes and the glass drops in the big glass. You do the same with the Irish Carbot. We just take your fingers with a small shot glass into the big Guinness pint and you drop in there. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then you drink.
That's
in one
like,
shot. You can't sip it and, you have to do
what's that by now? That, Jägerbomb.
Yeah.
Bull and Jäger.
Yeah. It has bomb in it, so it's all the same principle. But that's to tell you the extent of my knowledge of Irish.
Okay. So typically a smooth finish. It's not smoky because they didn't really dry the malted barley using peat.
Wait, you talk about the smooth, I'm not interrupt you here, smooth finish, because this is something that I do know. I've read about. I do know. But I think it's triple distilled, no?
Typically, yes.
So that would make it more smooth.
Exactly. And they don't dry the malted barley using peat, like historically was done in Scotland. Although you can get non-peated Scotch now. We did an episode on it. It was just the traditional way of making Scotch. Ireland, not the case. One of the most famous peated whiskies in Ireland is called Connemara, which comes from the Cooley distillery that was academically conceived and kickstarted the research
in 1987.
It all comes together. Triple distillation is not a rule. Doesn't have to be.
Not like when we talked about bourbon, there was all these rules you have to follow.
Like there's 5 or 7 rules. Yeah. What it does is it heightens it, the lighter aromatic flavors, which makes sense. Because when we talked about distillation, we talked about kind of picking out the hearts and setting up those flavor traps.
Yeah.
The remaining stringent elements stay for a longer finish. So long, smooth, light. But similar to bourbon, there is regulation.
Well,
since 2016, Irish whiskey is protected by the European Geographical Indication.
Okay.
So it's kind of got that EC registration or GI. And what it means is there are some rules, like bourbon.
It has to be distilled in Ireland.
Yeah. Distilled and matured on Ireland.
Matured in Ireland.
But the words, going back to the last episode, doesn't say Republic of Ireland, doesn't say Northern Ireland, it says on Ireland. So like old Ireland, the whole Ireland.
Yeah.
From mash of malted cereals, whole grains, whatever, it has to be sourced locally. Fermented by the action of yeast.
Okay. Which is logical.
Distilled to less than 94.8% ABV.
Do you remember the rule on bourbon? What it was?
I thought it was over 100. Maybe ABV. Yeah, I'm mixing up the ABV and the proof.
Oh, shit. Did you say ABV here? No,
yes,
98?
94.8.
94 ABV?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that is low. In such a way that, I'm going to quote this, in such a way that the distillate has aroma and taste derived from the materials used, and only plain water and caramel color is added.
Does that mean you have to add caramel color by rule? Or you're only allowed to add, of the things you can add, water and
plain water and caramel color, which is a big thing with whiskey, no color added. Now, whereas old whiskey wasn't age stated, it wasn't matured, it wasn't anything. Now it has to be matured at least 3 years in wooden casks, not exceeding 700 liters.
Oh.
Now I'm going to give you a quiz. Going back to our cask types, which is the name of the cask that can be between 500 and 700 liters?
Hogshead.
Let's check the notes. No, hogshead is 225 to 250.
But
so close. Sherry butt, 500 liters. I'll give you a clue. Yeah. It's the one that has sherry all around, and it's got a funny name.
I know. I'll give up.
Puncheon.
Okay.
Yeah. Puncheon. So nothing bigger than a puncheon.
Puncheon could hold up to 700.
500 to 700 liters. But I don't know why we talked about it in cask types. You've got influence of wood, and if you have smaller casks,
it is more influence of wood.
Exactly. So I guess bigger than 700 is it takes away.
Yeah, we gotta leave it in there for longer.
It has to retain its color and aroma and taste from the process above, obviously, and minimum 40% ABV.
And in the bottle,
yeah, bottled, absolutely. There is something else as well.
What is it?
By the dietist of malt, with or without normal enzymes. When I read it, I didn't know if I was reading English. Do you know what satchmel means?
No, tell me.
It's the process of carbohydrates being broken to their component molecules.
Broken by enzymes.
Yes. So basically sugars. So the example I've got is sucrose going into glucose and fructose.
Yes. Okay.
So basically breaking down sugars.
Yeah.
By the dietase. Dietase, any group of enzymes that triggers starch breakdown into maltase. So satchmel, by the dietase of malt with or without normal enzymes, basically means the normal way you would make whiskey.
So it's just make whiskey the normal way. Don't be weird.
Exactly. That was my point. It was like some of it was so long-winded. It wasn't quite the bourbon rules. They were kind of fun, and this was like, but what it has to retain the color and aroma and taste from the above process. Well, what the heck else is it gonna do? But yeah, so Irish whiskey, a lot of history.
Obviously, yeah. You say it's 30.
The biggest growing whiskey every year on year since the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And probably the American market has something to do with that.
But biggest growing because we only at what, 32 right now distilleries.
Yeah. Well, no, there are more planned and under development, but 32 in operation.
And do you know if there tend to be more single malt pot still or more blends or more?
No, I don't. But what we do see is like from Cooley, which is an older one, is peated whiskey, Connemara, which has a lot of popularity now, which perhaps may be an indication that the distilleries are branching out into different kinds of whiskey, like, for example, peated. But then there's the other one, Waterford.
What a sad story. I read that for me, Waterford is everything. I think I started the very first episode by telling there was one episode, what do you look for in whiskey? And I talked about terroir, and provenance. And that's exactly what Waterford tried to do. And so Waterford, a famous Irish distillery, recent, and also recently went out of business after less than 10 years of operation, after 8 or 9 years.
Definitely less than 10 years of releases.
Yeah. But they were trying to do, so the guy who started it, Waterford, Mark Renier, is the same guy who started the renaissance of Brick-Latte.
Yeah.
And did great things with Brick-Latte, which is insane, the favorite in the whole world, my favorite distillery, because it's the same concept. So he applied at Brick-Latte, and then he tried to do the same, but even like to the max, like even more. I mean, more nerdy. Like
to explain, he was like getting barley, not just locally sourced, but he was like isolating farms.
Yes,
and each bottle had a QR code. And you could trace the barley from that bottle.
Oh, you could trace
you could
trace what happened to that barley throughout its existence, how many days of rain it had, at what time it rained. They had apparently whole books about the history of that bottle in that farm.
Let's say you worked in IT. Just think of the expense and cost and research and development just to put that little feature of the bottle in place.
Yeah.
And it's an indication of the kind of expenses that they were doing.
Yeah. And just also the presentation, the bottle was a glass, the cork was glass. I mean, he wasn't sparing any expenses, but his idea was he wanted to prove that, like wine, you could make whiskey in the same way and identify whiskey, have its provenance in the soil that brewed the barley originally, come up through the whiskey. And he wanted to demonstrate that. But to do that, he had to do many releases. And I think that's the common theory why they failed, is because you see tons of offerings on the shelf, all from a different farm. And if you want to participate in the experience, you have to try different ones.
Yeah.
Also at the same time. So you have to buy multiple bottles.
Or
This is
go
more than
to,
one. Or go to a bar that has many of those. So that you can taste it and you go, oh yeah, I can taste the difference. So this one, where does it come from? You read the whole story of the barley, and that's probably why, I mean, most people are not interested in going to that next, considering most of the bottles were pretty expensive because they had to put
I think he also had problems with some distribution overseas. I think they were
and they were hit. I mean, they started with COVID. COVID hit at the worst possible time. I think they're distributing in the US, who they were very reliant on for expansion.
Exactly.
Went under and then collapsed.
His passion, his idea.
It's commendable, I think. Yeah.
It's not just commendable, it worked. The whiskey, we tried some and it was delicious. But if you tried to find a bottle now, I mean, there are a lot because there were so many different expressions. And that was also confusing to the market. I don't have a reference of what this tastes like. And every time I try a Waterford, it's a little bit different. There wasn't a core range.
Yeah.
But like trying to find them now, the kind of good ones, is really hard.
It's hardly as good a pricier than it was before.
Absolutely.
But they have a lot of stock, so we should be able to find it. Yeah. They had a lot of stock. They were producing like crazy. But I saw a podcast, I read an article by their master distiller who was explaining what their ultimate goal was. And he, in his opinion, which is slightly different from the consumer's opinion, the reason why they feel is because they wanted to, that was not the end goal. The end goal was to produce the cuvée. They wanted to do the cuvée.
Yeah.
That was they did do two releases before they went under, but he says that came way too late. They should have had that product on the shelves much sooner because that was the ultimate goal. That's what they were trying to do. Now, cuvée also can mean different things. Like in champagne, when you do champagne, a cuvée is different than for certain wines. Also, winemakers are using cuvée sometimes. They have their own definition of what it means. But it's supposed to be the best of the best, and you try and create your blend of what you've determined makes the best whiskey. In champagne, it's different vintages. You can take a 2018 vintage and blend it with a 2020 vintage, or you have different vintages and you create a single cuvée, which is this specific gathering of different vintages.
Yeah, I mean,
different things. But that was came too late.
But it's a sad story when you have such a vision, when you're such a passion that in the end,
they didn't fail because there was a scandal. They didn't fail because they did something wrong. They didn't fail for lack of passion. So that's why.
And the product was amazing. I mean, I encourage anyone who's watching and listening or whatever, if you can try a Waterford whiskey, definitely.
Yeah, I think again, there's going to be some which you like more than others because it's the whole point, trying different farms and techniques.
Absolutely. So on to, what are we going to talk about now? News.
The news. It's my turn, right?
It's your turn, yeah.
So the news. The news this week is an abomination. We've
gone from visions and idealism and perfection almost to abomination.
Yes, because listen to this. Table whiskey. First of all, does it ring a bell? Table whiskey.
It does.
Yeah, it should.
It does. And I'm struggling to remember what it is.
So it's linked with Port of Leith Distillery. So
I know what table whiskey is. Yeah.
So it's the single grain Scotch whiskey from the team behind Port of Leith Distillery.
Yes.
In Edinburgh.
Yes.
And what they're doing is the abomination, in my opinion. And it's only my opinion. They're launching a new 100 milliliter can format.
I saw this.
So they think that the future of whiskey is that you bring your whiskey in a can and you can bring it anywhere to a party. You travel with it in a small 100 milliliter.
I do have to say, this is not the Port of Leith single malt that is currently maturing and has a lot of great expectation around it. It is a blend, I believe.
Yes. Yeah. And it's supposed to launch and the price would be about $8 or £6.5 pounds. The whiskey is going to be a combination of virgin oak and sherry casks, blended in Leith, bottled at 43% ABV. But the thing that I don't agree with at all is that they think this is the next great thing in whiskey. In that,
I mean, it's adventurous. It's visionary in one sense. It's an untapped area of the market, table whiskey. You know, affordable, you could also say, because you don't have to buy a full 700 milliliter bottle. But yeah, is it going to be nice? Is it?
Because a can implies that it's not glass, first of all. Like it's aluminum, right?
Yeah, I mean, do they expect you to pour it into a glass, or do they drink it from a can?
I don't know. They don't really say. It's been table whiskey, so their brand has been, according to their head of whiskey at Port of Meath. Table whiskey has always been about making Scotch whiskey feel uncomplicated and approachable without compromising on flavor. We wanted to create a whiskey people could enjoy however they prefer, whether it's neat, over iced, or mixed.
Well, it's a blend, so you do have that flexibility, that smoothness.
I guess if you're at a bar and you're going to pour it into a cocktail, I mean, who cares, right? Because it comes out of a bottle, you open a can. And,
exactly. If you're making cocktails, I think it doesn't matter.
It's not my thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's something that we should try.
We should try it.
In what you call it, an effort to be adventurous and try all things whiskey. We should try it. But yeah, it's
an abomination.
Tasting. It didn't actually matter. Let me go get it. Okay. So, following on from a previous episode, 2 sweet previous episodes actually, we have another independent bottler, but from Ireland.
I don't know any yet.
This is Two Stacks. Now, two things, I guess they're stacks. Beautifully presented Irish whiskey, single malt, double barrel, 10% peated malt, 50% triple malt, 40% double malt.
What does that mean?
It's a superior single malt whiskey offering intense rich woods, toasted nut, and dark fruit flavors. Now, you have a look at the bottle, and I've got some information here. So, it's an independent bottler. I wasn't able to find out which distillery this came from. But it is, listen to this, great tagline. Inspired by traditions of old, disrupted by makers of the new. The very independent bottlery kind of thing. Crafted for complexity, suits the connoisseur, aged in both bourbon and sherry casks.
Yep. In sherry or Rosso casks.
Yes. Suitable for the connoisseur sipping or for mixing in an old-fashioned cocktail.
But you said you don't know who the distillery.
I wasn't.
So they say here, they don't name the distillery, but they say it was distilled and matured because of the Irish rules. It has to be so matured. And they say in Great Northern Distillery. Oh, that's the name of the distillery.
Great Northern Distillery. Great Northern. Yeah, that's right.
County Louth.
They did hear of it. I just never heard of it. It's peated as well. It's using a little bit of peated malt, and you get the light oiliness from double distillation, and then the triple distillation brings that light fruitiness to it as well.
Is that what they mean by triple malt? Double malt, double distilled.
Yes, but I haven't tried it. I think the presentation is quite nice.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of got that modern.
No out of coloring, no chill filter.
43%, I believe.
Yeah, 33%.
I'm really keen to try it. As I say, I like this kind of wood top. It's very simple, very modern, I would say, idea. But let's try it. I mean, very cool.
Ooh, whoa, let's go.
Okay, so thoughts on the color. So, I do like the branding. I like the blue and the gold trim. 80 proof, 43%. That's why they do 43%. Because it is odd. So you see 46 it's 80 proof. Okay. Yeah. Color light. Looks a bit kind of lowlandsy, highlandsy.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It doesn't overpower your nose, but there's something there.
It's intense, isn't it?
I'm not saying it's intense.
There's something there.
Yeah, there's something, but it's not. Whoa!
I'm trying to put my finger on what it is.
Yeah.
But I think we have to try it.
It's
long finish, light, smooth, oily. It reminds me a bit of some Japanese blends. I don't know why.
I can't put my finger on it. It's whiskey, all right.
Yeah, it's almost the triple distillation almost makes it so smooth that it kind of dulls out the kind of depth.
Yeah, but maybe it prepares more for more influence. Maybe the casks didn't provide enough influence, given that it's triple distilled. This is
it's not age stated either. It's not said how much.
Could be young and
I think it is young.
Casks.
I think it is young. I think I get some earthiness in there from the oak or the peat. Probably the peat.
I think the most you get is from the oak, but it's not very elaborate. It's just very basic contributions from the.
I think its focus is definitely let's be smooth.
Because there's some of it in sherry casks, right?
Don't get the sherry. No, I don't get the sherry. I get a little bit of peat earthiness. I get perhaps some caramel from the oak. Definitely light fruity, generic fruity.
Yeah.
Smooth.
Something burns, maybe something burns in the mouth, which is not unpleasant. But
that could also be that oak.
Yeah, it could be.
Like we talked about on bourbon, that kind of charring creates that caramelly kind of sweetness. But
simple. I don't dislike it. It's not.
I think when they say suits the connoisseur, I think it's more like someone wants to sit down and drink a whiskey and not think about it. Because it's so smooth. For me, it doesn't have much depth. You're not going to sit there and contemplate the world. If you want to sit there and zone out and have a whiskey, I mean, maybe it's perfect. Or you want to have a cocktail.
I don't understand what the double barrel statement.
That's bourbon and cherry.
Yeah. Makes sense.
But yeah, I think I'd probably put that in like an old fashioned and not really drink it.
They say here, offering intensely rich wood, toasted nut, and dark fruit flavors. But we're on the wood and on the burnt.
The burst, toasted, yeah.
And dark fruit flavors. Dark fruit.
Didn't get the dark fruits. I got the peat because it is. I definitely got peat earthiness, but no. Interesting. I got to say though, what we said about Irish whiskey, light, smooth, triple distillation, filtering out a lot, perhaps in my opinion, a bit too much in this case.
That makes me worried for the quadruple distilled whiskey. I don't know, 50%.
But that comes from Brook Valley. As we know, it's your favorite. You know what they're doing. But I tell you what, we should talk about the next episode. But in a future episode, if we venture into cocktails, I think I'd be quite happy to put that into a cocktail.
Yeah.
It's so smooth and light, I think it would work.
Yeah. Definitely. Or we could try also blending different whiskeys together.
We've got a blend from the blended episode.
Yeah. But we could blend that together with the one we had last week, the Gordon MacPhail's, the Mort Lab.
Yeah.
So, we're experimenting on that way.
So we can do our own blends.
Yeah.
And we can blend the blend.
And see what works and what doesn't, if we're capable of doing that. See if it makes it better or worse.
Nothing we've ever done is going to show evidence that we are capable of doing that. So let's try. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Exactly what it says on the tin. Not bad.
Very nice.
So next episode.
Next episode is going to be about, what did I call it? From barley to malt.
That's going to be interesting because we've done the fermentation, the distillation, the single malt. So quite interesting.
And you talked about Waterford and the farmers, so I wanted to go to your farm, and you grow your barley. Why? Why do you go? Where do you buy it? Who's going to buy it? Whiskey makers are going to buy it. Why do they buy barley and not something else? What happens to that barley? How do they prepare it?
As we heard in bourbon, they use corn.
Yeah, in bourbon they use corn.
Why not? Okay, sounds good. Questions, comments?
I can say always critics.
Always critique. Be kind. Bad. Like. Thumbs up.
Yeah, all the thumbs up.
I thought this sounds cruel.
If you, well, we need to know. We need the feedback, whatever it is. If we did a bad episode, we need to know about it. So we don't pigeon sticks again.
But do websites do that? Understand?
YouTube has it.
Oh, don't tell like 16 viewers. Well, like you. I feel like when you present the names and they do the shuffling papers at the end. You know, they end up presenting the news, they all go.
The anchors.